The Montauk Project is one of the most fascinating and at the same time eerie topics in conspiracy theories, which originated in the 1980s. It all began with the statements of Preston Nichols, an alleged insider of the project, who spoke in his reports of secret military experiments supposedly conducted at the military base in Montauk, New York. According to Nichols, the experiments began in the 1960s and continued into the late 1980s. The nature of these experiments went far beyond conventional military applications. Many reports about the Montauk Project are difficult to verify, as they are based on personal testimonies and conspiratorial traditions. However, the project has repeatedly been linked to another mysterious incident, the Philadelphia experiment. This experiment, conducted in 1943, allegedly aimed to make a US warship invisible by using electromagnetic fields. A serious accident is said to have caused the ship not only to become invisible, but also to be teleported, leading to gruesome and irreversible damage to the crew. According to conspiracy theories, the Montauk Project was not only a place where the military developed their advanced technologies, but also an area where supernatural forces were investigated. This led to speculation that military and intelligence institutions were involved in the dark arts to make contact with other dimensions to gain access to hidden knowledge. Overall, the origin of the Montauk Project remains a mysterious and unresolved topic, considered by many to be a secret, dangerous undertaking that concerned far more than just military strategies and technologies. Exactly what happened in these secret experiments remains a dark secret. At the heart of the narrative surrounding the Montauk Project lies the incredible claim that the project was capable of enabling time travel and teleportation. It is asserted that military scientists and secret agents at the Montauk base worked on a technology that allowed people to travel through time or teleport to another point in space. These reports sound like pure science fiction to many, but according to conspiracy theories, they are supposed to be close to the truth. According to these theories, the Montauk Project was not only supposed to have enabled time travel, but also to have opened dimensional gates. These portals, the reports claim, led to other worlds, perhaps even to parallel universes or distant galaxies. The goal of these experiments was to develop technologies that would enable the US government to gain control over time to achieve military superiority. But there are also reports claiming that these dimensional gates were not only used to discover new technologies, but also to interact with unknown, supernatural beings. The concept of dimensional gates and time travel goes hand in hand with the conspiracy theories surrounding the project, which state that Montauk was not just an experiment in manipulating space and time, but that the military also tried to gain control over the Book of the Future. It is speculated that the Montauk Project served as a starting point for the development of technologies that enabled the prediction or even influencing of the future. However, the results of these experiments are said to have had catastrophic consequences, from altering timelines to opening gates to dangerous dimensions that could not be controlled. The alleged technology of teleportation developed during the project is said to have enabled the movement of people and objects over vast distances, almost instantaneously. According to reports, this technology was so advanced that it could transport people across different locations for years, not only within time, but also across space. Many speculate that the attempted teleportations were not only affected by normal time, but also by the manipulation of matter and energy. The Philadelphia experiment is closely linked to the reports about the Montauk Project. The connection between these two experiments is a hotly debated topic in the conspiracy community, as both allegedly involve the manipulation of time and space. According to reports from the 1940s, the U.S. Navy, in an attempt to make the warship USS Eldridge invisible, used a technology that not only hid the ship from the enemy's eyes, but also teleported it. Some sources claim that the Montauk Project was a direct continuation of this experiment. The Montauk Project was intended to improve and continue the technologies originally developed, to enable time travel and teleportation with even more advanced methods. Reports indicate that Montauk researchers tried to extend the basic concept of the Philadelphia experiment to broader applications, which, however, led to catastrophic and unpredictable results. The connection between both projects also stems from reports that the Montauk Project wanted to fix the timeline problem that occurred in the Philadelphia experiment. While the ship's crew suffered severe physical and mental damage in the Philadelphia experiment, errors of this kind were to be avoided in the Montauk Project through more precise calculations and stronger electromagnetic fields. However, the reports often speak of dramatic incidents that show that this technology not only manipulated time, but also distorted reality itself. According to reports, human experiments were also used, in which unimaginable experiments were carried out to manipulate time, space, and identity. There are stories that speak of time travel, where people were transported to other eras for seconds or minutes, but also of cases where people merged through timelines, which destabilized their existence and consciousness. These uncontrollable aspects of the project further contributed to the mysterious and dangerous aura that surrounded the Montauk Project. The topic of dimensional gates is a central element of many reports about the Montauk Project. According to reports, the experiments were said to have opened gates to other dimensions and even alien worlds. These dimensional gates would not only have made it possible to travel to different timelines, but also to parallel existing worlds inhabited by completely different beings. One of the most shocking theories states that the Montauk Project led to a gate to hell. In this theory, it is assumed that through the opening of these gates, not only advanced extraterrestrials, but also dark demonic beings entered our world. These beings, who originated from an ancient dimension, were said to have been summoned by the military using occult rituals and technologies, who sought to gain access to supernatural knowledge and power. The idea that the military came into contact with these fallen beings stems from the assumption that the Montauk Project deliberately opened these gates to gain access to the demons of other dimensions. These beings were not only said to be beings from other dimensions, but also cosmic entities whose presence changed reality itself. In some narratives, these beings are described as unimaginably powerful, creatures that can influence the physical laws of nature to manipulate humanity. The idea of stargates and interdimensional portals has made the Montauk Project a mystical and fascinating topic, igniting the imagination of many. According to some reports, the Montauk Project was not only a place for military research, but also a secret hub, where access to advanced technologies and knowledge from extraterrestrial civilizations was granted. The theory suggests that the project may have developed a technology that allowed the opening of stargates, portals that served as connections to other worlds and galaxies. A stargate, in many science fiction stories, is a passage that allows beings or objects to travel from one point in the universe to another within seconds. Some conspiracy theories and witness reports claim that the Montauk Project used or developed such technology. These gates would have allowed the military to travel not only through time, but also through space, gaining access to unknown, distant worlds. The idea of stargates as access to alien galaxies or worlds is widespread in esotericism and many extraterrestrial theories. According to these theories, these gates could have been used not only to communicate with advanced non-human civilizations, but also with beings existing beyond known dimensions. Reports about the Montauk Project claim that these gates might have enabled intergalactic travel and served as channels for the exchange of technologies and knowledge. Some theories go even further, speculating that the military approached these technologies through secret agreements with extraterrestrials. These extra-dimensional beings are said to have appeared in many cases as mentors or partners, providing humans with advanced knowledge in areas such as energy, space travel, and perhaps even weapon technology. While these ideas are considered far-fetched by the general public, various reports contain hints that the Montauk Project actually involved not only experimental technologies for space-time manipulation, but also a secret contact with beings from other worlds. A particularly unsettling aspect of this theory is the notion that these partnerships between the military and extraterrestrials were not always based on cooperation and goodwill. Some speculations suggest that these beings might have pursued their own sinister goals and that humans were entangled in a kind of trade agreement with them through the Montauk Project. It remains unclear what kind of technologies or knowledge flowed into these exchanges, but many believe that the advanced weapon technologies and the manipulation of time and space, which were allegedly developed in the Montauk Project, were part of this dangerous pact. The role of the US government in the Montauk Project is another central theme that repeatedly emerges in the conspiracy theories surrounding the project. The claim that the US government not only initiated the project, but also kept it under wraps with all its might, is one of the hallmarks of the myth. It is claimed that the government, supported by secret military and paramilitary organizations, kept all information about the Montauk Project under wraps. The alleged secrecy of the Montauk Project is said to be the reason why so many reports and testimonies about the project are considered conspiracy theories. Some of those involved with the project claim they were pressured by the government and military to keep their experiences secret and not share information with the public. This led to a culture of fear and mistrust that only amplified the myth surrounding the Montauk Project. There are also indications that the Montauk Project was not isolated, but rather part of a much larger military complex that dealt with the development of advanced technologies. These technologies are said to have not only provided military advantages, but also led humanity into a new era of control and manipulation of space and time. The secretly held knowledge about these technologies could, many speculate, have been the basis for some of the most controversial military black projects, secret programs that continue to be carried out behind closed doors. The connection between the US government and the Montauk Project is often described as an example of the power and influence that secret military operations have in politics and the international balance of power. While the exact nature of the project remains unclear, the ongoing secrecy raises suspicions that the Montauk Project was far more than just a military experiment. Many believe it was a plan to push the boundaries of human knowledge and develop technologies that were crucial in both military and secret political operations. One of the most terrifying and mysterious theories connected to the Montauk Project is its alleged link to dark, occult forces. Reports suggest that secret societies and occult practices played a crucial role in the experiments. It is claimed that the Montauk Project served not only as a military research facility, but also as a place for occult rituals and magical practices that allowed the experimenters to interact with supernatural forces. Some sources report that secret societies, knowledgeable in dark magic and occult arts, were involved in the project. These societies allegedly sought to gain access to forbidden knowledge by performing rituals and incantations to communicate with beings from other dimensions. According to this theory, the scientists and military personnel working on the Montauk Project were not only interested in developing advanced technologies, but also in blurring the lines between worlds, to communicate with beings from hell or other sinister dimensions. In some narratives, it is said that these rituals served to summon demons, or even to travel to other dimensions. These practices were supposedly connected to the opening of portals to alternative realities, where the military and their occult partners came into contact with dark entities. It is speculated that these beings, described either as fallen angels or as ancient, evil entities, might have entered into a kind of deal with the military by providing knowledge or power in exchange for certain services or sacrifices. The connection between the military and occult forces is a terrifying idea and gives the speculative theories about the Montauk Project an even darker twist. If these reports are true, it would not only cast the project itself, but also the entire nature of military research and technology in a completely new, terrifying light. The Montauk Project was not only an experiment in manipulating space and time, but also an attempt to communicate with beings from other dimensions or worlds. Beings described as fallen angels, demons, or even ancient cosmic entities. It is speculated that the opening of dimensional gates through these experiments brought these beings into our world. These beings could originate from a hell or a forbidden dimension that only became accessible through the Montauk Project. The theory states that the project may have, intentionally or negligently, caused these beings to come to Earth. Beings who were once banished to another reality, but returned through the opening of the dimensional gates. The impact of these fallen beings entering our reality is said to have been catastrophic. Reports suggest these beings could influence the laws of nature themselves and challenge the reality around us. From invisible forces that influenced human behavior to paranormal phenomena that seemingly defied the laws of physics. The presence of these beings could have changed the world as we know it in a way that goes far beyond human comprehension.